everyone. Welcome back to our Women's History Month interview series. I am back again this week with another fantastic pair of Aurora supporters who have some really incredible stories to tell you and a lot of fun things that we're going to cover today. So I will kick it right over to them. Let's start off with, what's your name and how did you first find out about Aurora?
I'm Deb Pearson, and actually I started watching men's soccer televised, and they were in Europe, all over Europe. And the reason why I got into it is because I like the accents of the announcers.
That is a very good reason to get into it.
You know? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, eventually then they started putting on TV more in the States. Mm-hmm. And then I saw an ad for Aurora, and I hyperventilated. And I thought, we have got to go. We have to get tickets. And that's how we started with Aurora.
And I'm Denise Moreland. I'm her wife. And because she follows all the sports, I follow the sports with her. Don't know anything really about, or didn't know anything really about soccer, but the prospect of having a women's team for our area was so exciting that I got really excited with that.
I love that. And once you had learned more about Aurora, you knew about the club specifically, what made you fall in love with this team?
To me, it was their energy. And to me, on the field, just the respect for each other. Mm-hmm. I feel like the coach and players, the respect. And I feel like sometimes if they happen to knock down another player, they put a hand out and help them up. So to me, it was the respect that they have. Aurora itself, to me, being women-driven. And, of course, the wins. But I still love the team, even if they lose.
And I think the only exposure I really had to soccer was in Phi-Ed class, like when I was a kid, and I didn't understand it at all. It just seemed like if you can't use your hands, it's too frustrating. And then when our nieces and nephews were growing up, they played soccer, as kids. But then it was a swarm of kids going all over the field together. So I had really no concept of soccer. And then when I first started watching it, following Deb, it's like, wow, this is really good. I mean, there are plays, the team works together. And so just falling in love with the team spirit and the effort and just the skill level was just like, okay, now I'm hooked.
Beautiful. I love it. So what does a typical Aurora game day look like for you? Do you have anything you do every game day? Is it always a little different?
I would say, well, we live way out in Blaine, so we'd have to come a ways across town, which isn't really that far. And so it's more like, you wake up in the morning and it's like Christmas because it's exciting to go. And it isn't just about the soccer. It's about the sense of community. It's about being in a safe place and being with people who love the sport and also, share a lot of the values that we have. So game day is like, oh, good, we get to go to an Aurora game. We get to sit outside, maybe have a hot dog and some ice cream or popcorn. The popcorn's really good. And so it's just like, I don't know, when we wake up, it's like fun day.
Yeah, it's fun day.
Fun day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Talk to me a little bit about, it's Women's History Month. We're talking about women. We're talking about women in sports. When you were growing up, what did opportunities look like for girls and women in sports?
I grew up on a farm, so a lot of my energy was doing chores, picking eggs, taking care of the cattle and stuff. There really wasn't a lot of sports for me to be involved in till high school, and then it was volleyball and basketball. And I usually played in those sports, so I didn't have to do chores. To be honest, on the farm. So I got involved with volleyball and basketball, and then spring day at track, which I thought, no way would I do track. But so it was really of those only two sports where the boys were given they could do golf, football, and basketball. But the girls could not golf.
And I grew up in the suburbs of St. Paul. And I played baseball with the boys in the neighborhood, but we didn't have any really organized teams, I don't think, until maybe junior high. And we had like rec leagues. And then in high school, it still wasn't interscholastic, so our high school sports were intramural. So we would play other schools, but it wasn't really competitive. There weren't any officials. There weren't any tournaments. There weren't any state tournaments until I graduated. So I played softball like in school, but even and there was a basketball team and a volleyball team, but they were always second fiddle to the boys. The boys got the gym, so a lot of times we would be running the halls and running steps as a part of our conditioning. But Sports was fun, but it really didn't ever feel like it was serious. It was just like, there's girls out there going to play field hockey or whatever. But so it's changed so much over the last 50 years. It's just what it was.
It's lovely to see. And sort of hearing, coming from that background, girls always getting second fiddle to the boys, never getting first dibs. Can you tell me a little bit what it felt like that first time you were in TCO Stadium and you saw the stadium pack full of people who were there for these women, were there for the women's team as their first priority? What was that like for you?
Joy and tears coming down.
Yeah.
Because it was just amazing to see how many people, families, boys, men supporting a women's team. And that just meant the world. It was almost like, I don't know if we even watched the game. Yeah. It was like, wow, look at these people, look at these people and stuff. But it was just overjoying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dancing for me, it was like, in fact, many times when we go to women's sports events, we will be crying because it's so different and like way better than what we ever imagined. And the girls, when the women walk in with the little girls, it's like, they're moving.
Yeah. No, it is to see these sort of immediate, right in that moment of you're seeing the next generation watching it before your eyes and growing up, realizing that there is this opportunity, there are these dreams that they can have. Yeah. I can understand that being very emotional. I certainly even still get emotional seeing it. Denise, you mentioned, things have changed so much over the past 50 years in women's sports. What surprised you the most?
To be honest, what surprises me the most is how many boys and men watch women's sports. Because back in the day, when I was in high school and even after that, it was like beneath men to even pay attention to women's sports. And so, Deb has been a writer and giving feedback all the time for local news broadcasting because they never cover the women's sports like they do the men. It's getting better. Some local channels are better than others. The splash that the Aurora did with their first launch was phenomenal. I mean, the logo, the beauty, everything about it, and it was covered so well. I mean, that was even very moving. But to see men and boys enjoying watching women's sports as much as, women and girls have always been into men's sports was the most surprising thing. Like, wow, this has changed so much. So it's not just about supporting sports as a nice thing to do. It's about, this is really good, and we're finally getting an audience that's got both genders and not just something that we're doing, to try to change things. So seeing men and boys just gives me such delight because it's so different than the kind of experience we got growing up.
Yeah. One is the fuller stadiums, of course. I think the competitiveness and the talent of players, from the soccer to basketball, rugby, whatever, just how much they've grown in their talent. And women-owned teams, that has changed. And I'm hopefully the equal pay will continue in other sports.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think seeing how the makeup of women in sports has changed both on and off the field, right? We talk about that at Aurora a lot. The pathways for our athletes and the players are so important, but also being able to see women owning the teams, women running the teams, women coaching the teams.
Yes.
That's kind of where you start to feel really that progress and that change where it percolates through every piece of the sport. I love to hear that. What does it mean to you to see young girls today growing up with teams like Aurora? How does that feel for you?
It brings me great joy, and just the fact that they can see something that doesn't have a barrier. So there's a sense of freedom when I try to imagine what it looks like from their eyes, from their perspective, that they can see that there are possibilities, whether they play soccer or not, just that there are possibilities. I mean, like when I was in high school, I went to, my guidance counselor, and they said, take a strong interest test and blah, blah, blah. And they said, well, you can either be a teacher or a nurse. And I thought, I don't think I could do the blood thing, so I guess I'll be a math teacher.
Yeah.
And my career went a whole different way and whatever. But that there were so many limitations. But having women's sport, especially, and women role models in so many different fields now, I imagine that girls are growing up feeling like they really could do just about everything. And so that opens up a lot of freedom of opportunity and for them to express themselves in a way that feels coming from the inside rather than what society is telling them now should like.
To me, even though we sit up high in the stands, after the match, when the young ladies walk around the outside and shaking hands or tapping, whatever, it's just like we're standing there watching that, even though we're not down at the field, just to be able to think and be there and say, we're here for you. You know, this whole community and the people, even though some people have left the stands, but I mean, I don't know, I just want the players to know we support you. We're here.
Yeah. No, and I know they feel that support. I mean, I hear from our players all the time that is one of the things that's most special for them playing for this team. It's the fans. It's all of you. They see you in the stands. They feel that support. It's so different than anything a lot of them have experienced before because they're coming from, maybe college teams or sort of other places where they're not getting 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people in the stands. Wow. So, either being down there and actually high-fiving them or just staying kind of, holding space for that ritual, right? Being present for that ritual, I think is just as impactful. How long have you been coming to games together? It's our 5th anniversary. Are you OGs from the beginning? Did it kind of pick up?
Yeah, we are. I think from day one, we just went straight to season tickets.
I love that.
It's like we didn't have to check it out. It's like, no, we're season tickets. We're committed. We want to support the team, the community,
Our only regret was that we didn't get in early enough to do an investing right up front.
Yeah.
Well, we did in 24 or whenever. Yeah, the first time we didn't. But then we did in 24. And then it's like, invest in we have stocks. Oh, we have stocks.
You're an owner.
Yeah.
You are.
And so we donated again, another time we had the opportunity and stuff. So it's just, we probably own a boat that's in one of the bleachers, but it still feels we're connected. Yeah. And I don't know, it just brings me joy, even to come in here in the store, the posters, it's like, I want the season to start next week, please.
I know. Don't we all? I feel like the weather has gotten nice and I'm like, all right, I'm ready. It's time.
Yeah.
We're itching to go. Yeah. No, and I think that sentiment of like, oh shoot, we missed out the first time. That's what I keep telling people. I'm like, you've missed out on a couple of things, but you're not too late to say you knew us back when, right?
Yeah.
You think about where this team is going to continue to grow and continue to go. We're still in the really early stages.
Yes.
And so that's what I always tell people who maybe, weren't here like you all were from day one or, weren't kind of part of that original group. There's still so much time. And the thing for me coming and joining this team that has been so special is how quickly this community embraces anybody who wants to support this team.
Yes.
There is at least the sense. I met you all at the U.S. Women's National Team game, and we've been buddies ever since. Because I vividly remember you coming up to me and just saying, "We're so happy you're here. Yeah. Thank you for coming." And that means so much, I think, to everybody who joins this team. That's what our community is. It's people who are just happy you're here, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
We're happy you're here too.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Have you made friends in the Aurora community? Do you have folks you sit around or through other senses?
We do. The first year, maybe the second year, I don't know, 2 people who had season tickets who sat by us. Both of them are more knowledgeable about the game than us. And, like how they are supposed to run, can't be before the ball. And I don't have a memory, so I'm constantly asking the people next to me, it's like, what does that mean? What happened? And then it never fails that I'm turning this way and asking them a question, and we score. So then they have to say, Deb, turn and score, whatever. But I mean, it's just fun. And another person we met, and then we go out with them during the year.
Yeah,
we meet them at other events or restaurants, whatever. And another person we met, it was wonderful because one of the games it was raining, and so we snuck underneath Eve.
Yeah.
And she came and sat by us. And we bonded and connected and go out, besides the season, go out to the restaurant and you have connection, working and help each other or whatever. So it just blossoms. And we met you.
Yeah. There you go.
So Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great because it does feel
Yeah.
like you're part of a larger family of people who are sharing the experience with you and sharing the same kind of values.
And what does that experience mean to you? What does being part of this community mean for you?
Well, for me, it's like a respite or an oasis because there's so much turmoil, so much hatred and cruelty, it seems, in the world right now. And when we come to women's sports events, and particularly the Aurora, it's like you're in a bubble of sanity, or in a bubble of, we're still honoring Indigenous people before we start a game. It's like, okay, I love that. We're still, honoring LGBTQ people in our community. Plus, we're still honoring African Americans. We're honoring so many different multicultural experiences of the people who are there celebrating this wonderful game. And so that feels to me like I can relax, I can breathe, I can kind of let my guard down and enjoy this moment, even with everything that's going on in the world.
If you could tell the Aurora players something about the impact they're having, what would it be? What would you say to them?
I would say, we always think of the players being role models to little girls. They're role models to me. And so when people are like following their passion, excelling at their gifts, it's so inspiring to me to not see barriers as barriers, but just work that you have to get through. And the discipline and, just the tremendous skill level is such an inspiration. So it's not just the little girls, it's also the older women in the stands who are getting so much joy out of your example and yet modeling the kind of passion that you're going to goes way beyond the beginning.
And to me, besides them impacting us today, that we're in the stands, the other teams, what they're doing today, I feel like they're going to experience what impact when they're older, when they're not playing the game, when they can look back and say, I like this, didn't like this, I accomplished this, whatever. And the impact that they know that they have on teams and other teams, I feel they'll feel and know it even more as they're older.
Yeah. When you think about how far things have come, you think back to your own high school experiences and growing up, how does that make you feel to just think about the distance we've covered, the progress we've made?
I'm incredibly grateful because a lot of people like you have paved the way for these sports, to come through, and all of the different women's leagues that we've had in a whole variety of sports that have kind of peaked and then fallen, and then another one comes up and falls, and it feels like we've got traction now on so many different sports fields and courts where the momentum is going to keep driving up. But it took a whole lot of people doing a lot of work to get us to the point where we are now, and we want to be part of building whatever we're doing now to even excel more for the future. And so I'm really grateful for people like you and people who, follow their passions to make women's sports as excellent as they are and as excellent as they can get teaching them.
For me, I feel like how far things have come, and for many years, like Denise said, if there's a commercial on TV or something in a newspaper, I will write to them and say I disagree with this, or this is a good point or something. And one thing has always been something that bothers me at times, that when girls are playing sports, they're girls. When women are playing sports, a lot of times people will call them girls. And I know some women don't mind to be called girls. I mean, 100-year-old man might call me a girl. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But too often it's a derogatory term.
Language matters, and it matters how we perceive women in this world. So it's really important to both of us that when you're talking about women, call them men.
Language is so important, and even those little moments, right? We talk a lot about, I was thinking about this, the Olympics, right? We talk about hockey and women's hockey.
Yes.
Basketball and women's basketball.
Yes, exactly.
And, that sort of subconscious default in our semantics and in our culture, I think says a lot. And so I think those moments of really bringing people back to women. And, I do it a lot when someone says, oh, I was watching the blah, blah, blah basketball game last night. I say, oh, men or women, hopefully kind of through all of this work you're doing, all of the little and the big matter, right? We all are kind of pushing in the ways that we're pushing, and working on it together at the same time is important. So thank you for all of those 3 letters. Letters to the editor, I think, are important. People read them. They do make impact.
Yeah.
Well, to wrap this all up, right, we've talked through a lot of different pieces about yourselves, your history, where we've come, where we're going. I would just love to hear what keeps you coming back to Aurora games. Why here in year 5, you've been here from the beginning. Why do you keep coming back?
I think besides watching, of course, the players, I think it's the people that we also made who sit by us. We made a couple of friends with the security guards to come in. They're so nice, and even the ticket takers or whatever they do, all that, plus, the game, and just try and keep supporting the young players, and I don't know, to give them hope or support. And it's fun. Aurora is just plain fun. Just to come and watch the match, and it's just so much. Even from they walk in with the little girls to acknowledging the land to seeing the pride flag across from us, and to know that, wow, we are making steps. We have to keep going, but we are making steps, and Aurora is a big part of that.
I would say 2 things. One is, just being there and being part of this movement of women's sports. Because I think, if we want the world to have more equality, I think the best way to do that is to invest in women's sports. Whether it's buying merchandise, watching it on TV, becoming a part owner, getting season tickets, anything that you can do, or asking men or women, when somebody tells you about the sports, anything that we can do to invest in women's sports has a cultural change that goes way beyond the game. And so to me, helping trying to create that future that I want to see, I think investing in women's sports is a big step toward doing that. And just quite simply, I feel so much better when I leave a game than when I came, because it's been such a joyful experience, and the sense of community, being outside, whether it's sunny or raining or cloudy. We always see beautiful sunsets at the stadium, and just being out there with people in such a loving and positive and exciting environment. I just leave always with that, just more of a spring in my step for having been there. So I just feel good when I'm going to an Aurora game.
And to see what is the next step for Aurora. Where's the team going, the organization, community? What is the next step? And just to be a part of it and be proud, and it just brings joy and brings a smile to my face.
And seeing you, of course.
Of course, yes. Well, I love to hear that, and I am so appreciative for both of you and for your time and for sharing some of your stories and some of your love for Aurora with us. I know certainly for many people, and for me, hearing those stories, it keeps us going every day, right? We think about why we're doing the work that we're doing, and so thank you both for your time, for your talents. And for those of you who might be watching, you can see Deb and Denise at all the games. They're usually sitting at the top of the concourse. I'm sure we'd love to say hello to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we will see you in a couple of months. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.